Hello, my fellow ghouls and ghoulettes, and welcome to Monster Planet, where I talk about a monster's brief history, how it affected our modern world today, and how media portrays the monster. I'm your host, Marlon Gonzalez, and today's monster is sure going to be ahead of the rest. So, let's get started. Today's monster is none other than Sleepy Hollow's Headless Horseman. But before we get into the Headless Horseman, we have to talk about the man who really brought it into the main spotlight, Washington Irving, and his book, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. The book, Sleepy Hollow, was published in 1820, approximately 42 years after the American Revolution. Irving has obviously been inspired by the Irish, German, and other folklore of the Headless Horseman. So, the inspiration of the Headless Horseman is the monstrous, dangerous, and, well, very well armed Dullahan. Unlike the Banshee, who warns specific Celtic noble families, the Dullahan doesn't discriminate, and its call is a summoning of the soul of a dying person. For appearances of the Dullahan, they differ from telling to telling. Of course, they appear without a head on its shoulders, and either he or she carries it on their saddle brow, on their horse, or carried upright in their hand. The head is a color and texture that of a rotten corpse, with the odor being that of rotten cheese, with the complexion of stale dough. The head has a terrifying, split grin as they take joy in taking the lives from others. Their eyes light up with an evil fire as they dart back and forth as they search for their next victims. For their usual mount, they mount a black steed which thunders through the night, with its nostrils flaring with flames as it charges towards its victims. Some depictions tell of the horse also being headless. In some parts of the country, the Dullahan rides around in a carriage, being drawn by 6 black steeds. They travel so fast that the friction creates flames, and that is one pretty powerful horsepower carriage. For abilities, it's said that the Dullahan possesses supernatural strength and supernatural sight by holding their head aloft to see vast distances, even in the darkest of nights. But the one ability that's very peculiar is one that I actually found very interesting. It's that they can speak only once on each journey. So before a kill, they could speak with a thunderous but also very low-bearing and gravitas voice. That is quite scary. For weaponry, they wield a whip that's made out of human spines. They also wield various other weapons like swords and axes. This is one monster that won't need a head start to get his prize. To bring back what I said about Washington Irving, the legend of Sleepy Hollow has affected many creative minds, such as Walt Disney, who was inspired by his book that the studio made an animated movie called Mr. Ichabod and Mr. Toad, the Headless Horseman, which was made in 1949. This in turn made the iconic pumpkin head into a modern figurehead for the Dullahan. Also, having a decapitated head being replaced by a pumpkin head was a good call for a family-friendly studio. But besides Disney, Fox's TV show Sleepy Hollow is a loose adaptation following Ichabod Crane and his adventures with Officer Abby Mills to uncover the mysteries of Sleepy Hollow whilst battling the Headless Horseman. I've watched this show and I have to say, it's one of my favorites. How the Dullahan is portrayed is that of a one-tracked mind, on a very determined goal and quest to deliver the mortal to the ethereal plane. Disney is a great example of it, where the monster is on one goal to take or kill Ichabod Crane. To contrast, Fox's version of the Dullahan is more methodical, clever, cunning, and conniving. The way he plans out his kills is a little more interesting and fun to follow. Anyway, over the years, the Dullahan has evolved to a culture icon of Halloween, along with Dracula, Frankenstein's monster, and many more. Well, that's all the time I have for you ghouls and ghoulettes. And remember to be wary on who you see on horseback at night. You might be doula hunted as the next victim.